Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. My name is George Kingori and I'm your online finance guy who speaks about all things finance, how you can be able to save, how you can be able to invest, and how you can be able to grow your financial outlook. And today I'm going to speak to you about what should you look for when you are opening a bank account. So you have certain needs. Either you have been employed and you have income, or you're looking to set up an account for your investments, or you're looking to set up an account for your children, or whatever motivation you have, you are looking to open a bank account. So what should be able to look into when you are opening a bank account? Before you open a bank account, you should consider that this is your financial partner that will help you meet your financial goals. And so you need to be careful and coherent when you are making the decision to invest or to put your money in which bank. It is as important as which investments you need to undertake. So the first thing that you should consider is the cost. What is the cost of operating this account? What are the charges that are there? Are there standing charges that are always going to be there? Are there annual renewal fees that are needed to be there? Are there withdrawal charges that are needed to be there? What are the costs that are involved in managing this or operating this bank account? Those are important because in your financial journey, you do not want an expensive bank that is charging you excessive charges, and especially so if the amount of transactions and money that is flowing into that account does not justify the high expenses. So cost is the first thing that you should consider highly. Then the other thing you should consider highly is your needs. What are your needs? How are you going to use this account? Do you need to withdraw ever so often? Do you need to do online transactions? Do you need to do online transfers? Do you need to pay utility bills? What are your needs? Is it a bank for your business? Are you going to need overdraft facilities? Ensure that this bank account and this bank can meet your needs effectively. There is no point of opening a bank account just to realize that the critical things that you need this bank account to do cannot be done by this bank account. So ladies and gentlemen, consider what your needs are and consider what this account is providing so that you can be able to see whether your needs and what they are offering can be able to match up. Ensure that you can be able to meet all your needs from the bank account that you pick. Then the other thing is that you need to ensure that you know what is the minimum amount of money that is required in the maintenance of account. There are several accounts that require you to maintain a certain amount of money every time, and this is an amount of money that you may not be able to withdraw. So if you're the kind of person who needs or desires to use all your money in your account, these accounts are not good for you. Ensure that this account does not have a punitive amount that you need to keep laying around, that you cannot be able to access in case of an emergency. So ensure that you know that this account can, even if it has a minimum balance, it is a minimum balance of an amount you can do without. I have met several people who have had issues because they cannot withdraw above that minimum amount, and this is troublesome, especially when you are met with an emergency. So check and ensure there is no minimum account balance required, and if it is required, it is something you can be able to manage. Then the other thing is online and mobile platforms. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting away from brick and mortar branches where people used to go and line up and receive physical bank services. We are going towards online, towards applications, towards internet banking and things like that. So if that bank account that you want to use does not allow you to have the flexibility of having online platforms or demand of services or services on demand, then it is something you need to consider whether you need to move away from that bank account because it will not be able to meet your needs. Ladies and gentlemen, consider whether it allows you the flexibility to be able to conduct your transactions anywhere, everywhere, and anytime. Ladies and gentlemen, the other thing you need to consider is customer support. There is no need of opening a bank account where the customer support is non-existent, where they do not offer you options, where they are so strict on their policies and guidelines that they do not consider you as a customer. A bank should be able to consider your needs effectively, especially so for critical services and needs. If the bank does not meet your individual needs, especially the ones that are generally accepted, then this is a bank account you do not need to undertake. If, for example, if you have issues accessing your account, but they cannot help you until you can be able to go physical to a certain bank branch, and you are busy and you need to work and you need to do all these things, maybe that is not an account you need to do. Customer service is highly important, and ensure they can serve you effectively, efficiently, and to your expectation. Then the other thing that you need to consider is statements and ledgers. So are you the kind of person who desires to have statements, that you desire for them to give you statements, or you need to access an online statement, and how far back are they willing to offer this statement to you? Some banks have policies where past statements are not accessible to customers. Some banks have issues with giving you statements, sending you statements and things like this. If that is something that you need to do, ensure that is something that is there and it is available in the account that you need to open. Some banks also have ledgers. So as you spend your money, they can be able to categorize these expenses, and you can be able to have a breakdown, especially if you're tracking your expenses through your bank. If your bank cannot provide this, and it is critical and it is important to you as you track your finances and grow in your financial journey, then this bank account is not for you. So consider whether they are providing statements and ledgers, and if you need them, and if they are important to you, and also if you can be able to access previous and statements for periods that have passed. Because if this is important, then you need to achieve this. Why is it important to access previous year's account statements? Ladies and gentlemen, any tax agency in anywhere around the world checks at historical bank records, and if you cannot be able to access your historical bank records at least 3 years back, then it can be problematic for you, especially if you are a business. So ensure that you can be able to access this, because if you are required to access this by your tax authority and you cannot be able to do it, then it becomes problematic to you. So ensure that you know that they can be able to offer these services, especially for businesses that require to access these statements. Then the other thing that you need to ensure is that the transfers and the receipts are done to your desire. What is the turnaround time for transfers and for receipts? If you need a quick turnaround and the bank that you operate from is too manual and requires too many authorizations within the bank, and the money usually arrives to your account much later than the average bank, then that is not an account that you need. Especially for people who need to do quick transactions, people who need to do forex tradings and online businesses that require instant transfer of money, then ensure that you do not have such bank accounts that the turnaround or in the transfers and receipts of money is too slow. So look at the turnaround of the bank that you want to open and see that you can be able to meet your criteria. Is it desirable, and can you be able to live with it? Otherwise, it will be frustrating you, especially if you need instantaneous transfers and instantaneous receipts, and your business is very cash on demand kind of a business. If your business requires a lot of cash and a lot of cash fast, then that is not the kind of business bank you need to operate with if their turnaround time is too slow. So ladies and gentlemen, the other thing that you need to consider is what is the safety and the security of your money. Are there instances that this bank has had issues with other customers as regards to their deposits? Do they have a record of fraud and things like that, especially within the bank and the employees themselves? Are there instances of questionable transactions that once you query, they cannot answer. If there is a history of such, avoid such banks, especially if you're going to leave your money laying in the account dormant for a long period of time, because it will be stolen and the safety of your money will not be guaranteed. It does not happen often, but it does happen. So ensure that the record that the bank has is good, and especially if the bank has a guarantee on the deposits that you have with them, so that if there is fraudulent transaction that happen, especially where it is the fault of the bank, they can be able to refund you if there is such a policy, and if there's such a guarantee, then you can go with such a bank. But however, if they are notoriously bad with the security of your deposits and they do not guarantee you anything, and their customer experience when you are pursuing such issues are nil, then avoid such banks. Then the other thing, especially for people who are looking to have fixed deposits, especially you're going to keep that money in fixed deposit accounts where you're going to earn interest, look at the bank that you're going to keep it. If it is a bank that will give you the best possible rate in the market, if it is the kind of bank that will give you additional flexibility when you want to withdraw to meet an unexpected issue. So ensure that your bank is the best in terms of the interest that is generating for you. If your desire is to have your money in fixed deposit accounts, and if it has a good turnaround time when it comes to maturity of the money that you have kept, or when you need to withdraw the money in advance to meet an unexpected thing. So ladies and gentlemen, I have given you more than 8, actually 9 reasons or 9 things you need to look at before you open a bank account. I hope that I have been helpful to you. I hope that you are learning, you are gleaning, and you are growing, and you are becoming better in your financial journey. Remember to subscribe to the channel, to like this video, and to leave a comment down below. Thank you, and enjoy your day.